Alright guys, what's up? Petko here. Today we're going to talk about actually updating the choose your main spreadsheet, which is going to be round 2. The first time we did it was 2 weeks ago. After that we shared it on Twitch as a kind of example what we do, and you guys liked it so much, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to update it every week, every 2 weeks, with all the changes that are happening right now on beta. Today I'm going to talk about pretty much everything that has happened for the past couple of days/week. I'm going to attach the class changes below that video. If you guys don't know what we're doing, and if you're confused about the whole graph here, you're welcome to check out the last video, pretty much summarizing how each of these classes or specs are ranked based on damage, STL utility, the defensive and self-sustain, base style, how fun they are to play, how difficult or easy they are as well. There's some secondary notes here if you guys want to keep on around. But yeah, if you haven't seen the first video, I make a big intro. It'll make more sense to watch it. If you did watch it, welcome. Round 2 changes. So let's begin. Alright, so notably, a lot of things has changed. I'm going to give you a TLDR quickly in each class. Elisha will receive some AoE nerfs. Fusion no longer works giving you echoes. Therefore, your AoE is going to drop slightly a little bit down. However, they buffed the Farseer, which means you'll be getting slightly more single target out of it, just a little bit. Overall, Ellie right now seems to be the pretty much best performing spec, or one of the best performing specs currently on beta. So I'm quite happy to say that. Next in line, Frost Decay received a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of nerfs, but definitely received some nerfs. Even though they're still going to be playing probably Deathbringer. That got nerfed a little bit. Their whole class or spec got nerfed by like 5%. Keep in mind, I haven't read the notes in a while now, but I think it was 5% nerf. So we're dropping the single target a little bit while keeping the AoE pretty much the same. So far, Survival Hunter received small changes, small nerfs by 5%. The bomb, for example, is the biggest, most notable change. Survival is still going to be the best hunter spec. They're still going to be good. So I believe they're going to be, one of the better melees out there. Afterlock didn't receive much. Soul Conduit, aka Shard Refresh, got changed on pretty much all the specs. Demo Destro included, so Affleck stays the same pretty much. Very strong so far, one of the better range out there. Aster Rogue, Sub Rogue, and Outlaw Rogue received throughout buffs all over the specs. So baseline, they're gonna do more single target. They're gonna do more AoE damage. Retaining the utility, nothing has changed there. Defensive playstyle and fun. We didn't score it any different than last week, so that's gonna remain the same. As well as the easy to play. So yeah, I believe right now, after the changes, Asa and Sub Rogue should push a lot higher than they previously were. Again, hero talents are still concerned. They got buffed, but playstyle, etc., fun-wise, not the highest mark there. Overall, if you're looking only about performance, you don't care about how fun the spec could be, then Rogue is most definitely better than last week. Getting back to Enhance received some nerfs on behalf of most notably Stormbringer 3, which means right now your Tempest will do less damage. Arc Discharge now gives you only 2 for the chain lightings instead of 3. So you're gonna see notable AoE nerfs on it. Single target will mostly remain the same, slightly lower, but mostly the same. A lot of whitelisting has happened on Enhance, so a lot of bugs have been resolved there. So that should also bring the performance a little bit up. So yeah, although it got nerfed, I still believe Enhance has what it takes to be one of the better melees this season round, but I wouldn't say it's in a commanding position as they were, for example, last week. Last week they were really good. This week, it's starting to slip a little bit, I would say, for them. Overall, I'm not too surprised. Again, if you haven't seen the changes, right here, if you click on the changes, see that? You click here on the link, I put it right here for you guys. You'll be able to check out all of the changes in depth, so you guys can read about every single one here yourself if you're curious about your spec on class. Moving forward, it's gonna be, what is it? So Frost Mage received a lot of buffs. We're quite happy to say that Frost was quite underperforming last week. After the changes right now, I believe Frost will be one of the best ranges in the current beta cycle. Once again, the only spec they can enter a God Comp effortlessly just because of the arcane intellect. So God Comp pretty much means augmentation X class. So augmentation Frost Mage is augmentation Mage is the staple of the God Comp right now. So Even if the mage ranking is not as high as you guys think, if you pair that with any caster comp plus oak, these rankings for all of them will bump a lot higher. Like a plus 0.5, plus 1 point on top of what they already do. As a standalone DPS, solely comparing them against other classes without having to have a god comp, any key level, I would say these rankings here could be actually, quite relevant for them. Fury Warrior receives small change there, slightly nerfing the Audience Fury output. Nothing else has been changed. Arms receive quite a big buffs. So I believe now Arms performance will probably rival the ones on Fury, or be at least very close to Fury 1. So I'm very happy to see that. Perhaps would be a questionable choice whether you want to play Arms or Fury depending on the key level. I still like Fury playstyle better just because you have a short offensive cooldowns that you can pretty much pump in every single pack, which is gonna be actually beneficial to like newer players. If you're playing lower keys especially, you get inside, you burst the whole pack, and you can snipe out all the damage. So yeah, overall, I like both warriors right now. Utility part has been unchanged. I don't know why they're unwilling to add more utility on warrior. They think it's fine. I don't think it's fine. So yeah, nothing has changed for Devastation Invoker. Unholy Decay got quite substantial nerfs actually. Not only their hero talents got nerfed once again, but also baseline Unholy got hit by a nerf. I believe it was around 10%, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the output on Unholy Decay is now gonna be much lower in Mythic Plus. I still believe if you run full single target for raid, you're gonna be fantastic. But for Mythic Plus right now, you're probably gonna drop at 1 point everywhere, like small tier below. So yeah, previously we're one of the top though. Right now you are still good, but I wouldn't consider you a top pick right now. Nothing has changed for Red Paladin so far. Nothing for Devastation Invokers. They still remain solid, above average performance, if not getting to slash impressive levels. I like both of the specs. They play very fluid. No complaints there. I guess the only thing that they're missing to get to the top levels is just raw damage so far. But honestly, I'm very happy about them, especially about Dev Evoker, because a lot of people are gonna neglect that spec. Likely not be played a lot because people are gonna be playing Augmentation, aka the better part. So yeah. Demonology Lock, nothing significant has changed for them. Again, Soul Conduit has been a change for them, but that wouldn't really impact their performance as big. Arcane Mage receive a lot of attention. Trout mostly nerfs here, so I'm quite happy that they're not as OP as before. If you guys remember Arcane last week or the week before, they were doing twice the damage of some of the range specs in Mythic Plus and also in raid testing. It was extremely OP. So now they're tuned a little bit more up in line. Still, again, mage spec can never really truly be bad. So I still believe you are a decent choice, especially if you put yourself in a god comp, in a pyramid group. As a standalone itself, the output, especially the consistent damage output, is not there. ST is good. AoE on-demand cooldowns is good. Off cooldowns you hit quite weak, so that's where other classes can catch up with you. BM Hunter. Okay, so I was extremely wrong about BM Hunter, by the way. I would like to say that I wasn't testing all the builds possible. There is a build that was found not so long ago that does extremely good single target while maintaining better AoE damage with a Dire Pact, for example. So we re-evaluated BM Hunter, and we think that their performance right now is going to be probably placed above average. So again, purely talking about Mythic Plus here, not about rating. Good during cooldowns, that has never been an issue for them. Off cooldowns got better, but still whack, I would say. I would like to see further buffs on behalf of sustained damage. Plays pretty boring. Nothing has changed for them so far. Defensive got better. Utility got slightly better. Other than that, yeah, it's still the old boring playstyle, except that you now have to wave in some short city Dire's Basilisk in, so whatever. Havoc DH got buffed quite a bit. I believe 13% outer buff on everything except the everything except the hero talents, I believe. I've seen some streams for Havoc DH, especially a full raid build, like late game. They do quite a lot of single target, so I'm not trying to consider that. We're talking about present tense, so I would say after the most recent changes, their performance right now is gonna be up in there with the rest of the specs placed in like a kind of a average slash above average performance wise. So I wouldn't like, if I have to consider only damage, then you're probably gonna be within like the average classes here, somewhere up here. Monk, nothing has changed for them. They got nerfed 2 weeks ago. So far, no changes for Monk. So yeah, it's still one of the most fun specs to play so far. But genuinely speaking, Monk should get a little bit more attention. Boomy. Wow, it's a hard one. Boomy is actually been extremely unfun to test and unpleasant to be playing. The poolside removal for me was kind of a big deal. I don't like how Boomy plays right now. If I talk about purely metrics, currently numbers, I wouldn't say they're completely terrible, especially on the high level keys where the mobs live long enough for you to catch up your damage to the more. Single target, they are a little bit, on the weaker side, but overall, if you do play high keys, you're still gonna be fine. However, just so you know, playstyle itself not looking as great. Shadow Priest SP, on behalf of Shadow Priest, they received 0 changes. Again, SP is one of the specs that can enter easily to God comp, which means if you do get premated with a mage and a Evoker, your rankings will likely fluctuate and go higher. But if I have to rank you as a standalone spec, I would say you are currently on the bottom performing specs in terms of just purely output. This log got buffed recently, I believe 35% Rain of Fire damage and 20% Demon Fire channel, or like channel something fire. I already forgot about it. On top of my head, I don't quite remember, but you also got buffed recently, so we're gonna bump the rankings a little bit up. I still believe Demolog is better than you. I still believe Aflok is better than you. I don't think there's any incentive playing Destro. The slow ramp up damage itself is kinda big deal. During cooldowns and mass AoE damage, if the mobs live long enough, then your damage will be a lot better. I guess in a full premade could be higher, but I think for now speaking, the placement is fair. MM Hunter received a lot of attention. Actually, I'm lying to you. They don't receive. They received the Dark Ranger buff, which is the second choice of hero talents, which is actually a lot of attention. I still believe you're gonna play Sentinel. I still think that your AoE is great, especially the burst AoE damage. Single target, what I found to be a problematic area, which I think will probably get adjusted or at least get some talent buffs so they can benefit more from a single target while playing full AoE. If you do play full single target, obviously like raid build, your ST is just fine. But speaking about Mythic Plus builds, I do think that they need a little bit more adjustments on their single target. Last but not least, Outlaw received quite a bit of changes on behalf of their toolkit. So damage profile, single target AoE is gonna go higher for sure than last week. It's, in my opinion, gonna be underperforming compared to Sub and Asa Rogue, so there's no real incentive of playing Sub and Asa. Outlaw is also a cap gameplay there, just so you remember. And also they don't have a strong burst just like any other spec in the game. Well, you could argue that they do, but again, it's not as big as other classes, so I don't like that. Because on a lower level keys, mid level keys, you'll be outsniped by even like monks, for example, or DH, for example, during meta. So yeah, if the mobs live long enough, you play slightly high keys, then I would say that, okay, you know what, you have a time to ramp up, catch up, adrenaline rush multiple times perhaps, and then yeah, eventually catch up. But for the sake of considering OK levels, low, mid, and high, I would say like they should get slightly more attention. Alright guys, that's pretty much so far. Again, this is not a tier list, it's just pretty much what I do to help me decide what I should be ulting. I'm gonna be maining Elemental, as you guys already know. I am not sure exactly what I will play as an ult at the end of the updates. I guess closer to August, I will decide based on a list. I'll pick up 2 specs, one purely based on how fun it is to play, and one purely because they're strong. It is not gonna be OK Volker. I don't enjoy it, even though they're extremely strong. Even stronger than before. I guess time is gonna tell, and for the tuning will do so. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.